Welcome to the power of potential. We all have untold wealth within. The capability and potential that exists within you is literally unlimited. It's up to you to discover it. In 1957, a group of Thai monks were put in charge of moving a large clay statue of Buddha to a new location. As the crane lifted the statue, the weight was so great that the statue began to crack. Worse yet, it started to rain. In fear of seriously damaging the statue, they lowered it, placed a tarp over it, and decided to continue the following morning. That night, while one of the monks was inspecting the statue with a flashlight, he noticed a reflection shining from the crack that was forming in the clay. Out of curiosity, he retrieved a hammer and chisel and started chipping away. Finally, after much of the clay had been removed, he realized that it was not a clay statue at all, but rather a large, solid gold Buddha. Can you believe that? Many historians believe several hundred years earlier, the Thai monks covered the golden Buddha with clay in an effort to disguise it from the Burmese army. A battle ensued, and consequently the Thai monks were all destroyed. And it wasn't until 1957 that the true nature of the Buddha was discovered. Today, the golden Buddha rests in a temple in Thailand on display for the public to see. Like that Buddha, we all have great potential and untold wealth within, yet due to the battles of life, we too find it difficult to see beyond our own layers of clay. As you heard Blake say at the conclusion of an earlier lesson, he said, most people don't aim too high and miss, they aim too low and hit.
I had a college professor tell a class once that I was sitting in that everyone is a genius at something. We all have different qualities, and there's a whole spectrum of skills and potentialities that we all have, and that no matter how challenged we are in many areas, there is something about each of us that really constitutes genius. So part of the success formula is to figure out what you're good at and really focus or deploy that thing that you're very skilled at throughout the rest of your life. Find confidence in doing well that thing that you're particularly good at. Some of us are good at a range of things, and others a narrower range. But I really come to believe that it's true that everyone you meet is in some way has capacity to be better than 99% of the people around them in some field, in some area.
Everybody's potential is unlimited. My favorite quote in the world says that the greatest loss in life is the difference between human potential versus actual performance. It's what every person is capable of accomplishing in their life versus what we actually get to. And it's because people waste time. I'm not that good at the business. There's so many people in my downline that are way better than me at recruiting and training and teaching and talking to people. But the one thing I'm good at is maybe I'm just dumb enough not to know I should never quit, or maybe it's that I quit once and I swore I'd never quit again. I just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Well, okay, I've never met anybody who wasn't superior to me in some way, shape, or form. Everybody seems to be, have special tools, or they have enormous potential if they can figure out where they ought to be pointed. I've met very few people in my life that I didn't think had incredible potential. And obviously, even those people had it. I just didn't know where to look.
One of the things I love about this business is that it is an equal opportunity, potential business. We give everyone the opportunity to find out who they are and who they can be. And that is something special, and it's something unique. And it's something that I think is missing from a lot of people's lives. I think it's a frightening thought to think that a person could go through life and never have the opportunity to really find out who they can be and what they can do and what they can achieve.
I had the opportunity to travel to a lot of foreign markets, and often people are on the stage speaking about their success, and one I can remember quite vividly are two young women that were in Taiwan. And they were up there in evening gowns receiving their Blue Diamond Award. And their story really touched my heart because before this miraculous thing happened to them, they were working on their parents' vegetable cart from the age of 6 or 7. They'd never gone to school, no formal schooling. and they had been working on the vegetable cart in order to put their brothers through school. They'd made that sacrifice. That was part of the family plan. And at one point, someone approached them with Nu Skin. The parents were furious, of course, because this was their livelihood. The children, the kids working on the cart was what was providing the family with income. But they thought to themselves, well, if we can sell vegetables, we can sell skincare. So they started selling Nu Skin. And the things that happened to them was amazing. Now, they're on stage in evening gowns for the first time ever, being able to put their brothers through college on their income alone. And then in turn, of course, developing in ways personally that they never dreamed possible for themselves. And that's why we do this business. It's to go and hear stories like that. It's to see the change that can be created through the opportunity.
As you can see, your potential to achieve is not determined by how much talent or education you have. Even the resources you have or don't have will not ultimately determine whether or not you can achieve your goals. Nope. The degree of success you have in life will be in direct proportion to what you do with what you've got. There are some people blessed with a lot of talent, but never really use it much in their life. Then there are others who may not have as much talent as some, but use every bit of what they've got, and it is those people who ultimately live the life dreams are made of. After a 5-year study of 120 of the top artists, athletes, and scholars, Dr. Benjamin Bloom and his research team determined that success was more about drive and determination, not natural talent. As the saying goes, sometimes those who are given more end up with less, and those who are given less end up with more. Will Kellogg was reported to be a shy man with few friends, limited interests, and no obvious talents. He was 46 years old before he even decided to go into business for himself. At that time, he was working for his older brother, Dr. Kellogg, who never paid Will more than $87 in a single month. One day, while Will and his older brother were experimenting to improve the food for his patients, they discovered flakes by accident. Will had left a pot of boiling wheat just a little too long. So when the wheat became tempered, he rolled it into a flake. He tried convincing his brother to mass market the discovery, but Dr. Kellogg refused. He doubted Will's idea would ever go anywhere. As a result, in 1906, Will decided to market that idea on his own, and he became one of the richest men in America.
I am a big believer that everybody has unusual and certainly untapped potential. And the more people like that we can line up with their skill set and with their abilities, the more success we get to have.
それはね、人生一回の人生ですよね。一回の人生だから、思いっきりね、自分の今までできなかったことをニュースキンだとやらせてくれるんですね。だから自分にどんなことができるかっていう楽しみがあるんですよ。だからそういうことをね、どんどんできていく自分がまだまだ山登りとしたらですね、まだまだ高い山に登れるかなみたいなね、そういう気持ちでお金がどうのこうのじゃなくて自分の違う人生がね見えてくるところが面白いんですね。だからなんていうかな、自分にない今までに見えなかったものを見えていく人間のこの中身っていうのが、なんか私はもう今までニュースキンやる前とやった自分とのこの人生の差がものすごい開きましたので、まだまだね違う人生があるかもしれないみたいな、なんかそういう期待があるんですね。だから同じ一生一回の人生だったらやるだけやってみようっていう気持ちがあってやってます。
Well, I would say that when we first started this business, myself, Blake, Nedra, we were all struggling with who we were going to be and what we were going to become. And just as each person that comes into this business has that same experience, you come into this brand new business and you see people that are better at it or people that have gifts that you don't have, and you say, oh, I could never do that, or I could never speak in front of an audience with a microphone. But the beauty of network marketing to me is it allows people to discover their personal potential. the things that they didn't even know about themselves, perhaps that they'd be a great public speaker if they just had the opportunity and experience to do it, or the passion for something that they felt they could speak about. So really hidden within each of us is the ability to do something more with our lives. And it's up to us to make that decision to do it, and then through Nu Skin, they have the vehicle to do it.
Unfortunately, many people have stopped believing in themselves. They've stopped believing in possibilities. Even with all our innate potential, far too many people have been conditioned to use only a small portion of the true potential that resides within. Like the Buddha story, many people have great wealth, abilities, talents within, but through life we've all taken on layers of clay that prevent us from becoming and achieving all that we're capable of achieving. This conditioning, or layers of clay that are formed around our potential, is what holds us back. This conditioning that we're talking about could be the result of what someone said. Maybe you set a goal at one point in your life that you were really excited about, and you went to somebody that you loved or somebody that you admired and you told them about your goal. And they turned back to you and they said, "You're going to do what? You can't do that. What are you thinking? You don't have the education, the talent, so forth." And in that vulnerable moment, you believed them. Maybe you've heard of Dr. Amen's 18-40-60 rule. He says when you're 18, you're worried about what everybody else is thinking about you. When you're 40, you don't give a darn. And when you're 60, you realize nobody's been thinking about you at all. So stop worrying about what other people are thinking. Or maybe at one point in your life, you made a decision to go after a goal only to have one setback after another. And as a result, you can't do it. That it's not possible.
You see, we have to realize it's not who you think you are that holds you back. It's who you think you are not that holds you back. And if you subscribe to the latter of those philosophies, you won't get anywhere in life. So you got to get over that kind of thinking. How do you get over that kind of thinking? Use some affirmations. I am great, whether you really believe it or not. Say the words, because the words are the seeds of your thoughts that help you to become who the potential is that you could represent.
Well, that's the very thing that makes me feel like everybody has enormous potential. Is I view myself as just a really ordinary human being, but I've been able to line up my values and some eternal truths, I think, with my career in such a way that I look like I've accomplished something of value. Really, I'm just surrounded by people who are reaching their potential and make me look like I may be something spectacular, but I'm really just a very average person.
Human potential is an intriguing thing because there is no gauge on any of us. None of us know how much we can accomplish. And so it's fair to say that our limitations are self-limitations, that we all have capacity to do more than we understand, and we can only test the depths of our capacities by getting out there and engaging. There's no question in my mind that everyone can go further, climb higher, do more than they ever believed.
Don't allow these past events to determine your destiny. Resist buying into life's conditioning. In the early part of the last century, Michael Downing was 14 years old when he was riding on the back of a wagon in the middle of a heavy snowstorm and fell off. Before his parents noticed that he was missing, he had been severely frostbitten to the point that both of his legs had to be amputated, as well as his right arm and his left hand. Sometime later, he went to the county commissioner and asked if they would pay for his education, and he promised that he would pay them back in full. They did give him the money, and he eventually paid the county back. A number of years later, he was asked to speak in Germany to a large group of wounded soldiers during World War II. In his speech, he told them that their future is bright, that regardless of their wounds and circumstances, they could still achieve big goals. The wounded soldiers began to boo him. The booing got so loud that he couldn't speak, so he sat down. He took off his right leg. The booing stopped, but the resentment didn't, so he continued. He took off his left leg. Now he got their full attention. He continued by taking off his right arm and flipping off his left hand. Sitting there, a stump of a body, he began telling these young men and young women that they could achieve big goals and big dreams just like you can. In my mind, it must have been one of the greatest motivational talks ever given. You see, Michael Downing went on to marry a wonderful wife and had 5 beautiful children. He also became the president of one of the most successful banks in Minnesota history. I asked the question, what's possible? Remember, your past doesn't have to equal the future. You don't have to buy into your past defeats. The most important belief you can have is the belief in yourself.
I've heard it said that in the end, everything's going to turn out great. And if everything's not great, well, it's not the end. The reality is our success in life is not determined by the circumstances we're born into or that we find ourselves in at any given moment. Our success in life is determined on how we make decisions, how we push ourselves, the courage we find, the preparation that we put ourselves to. Those are the features that make us successful, not what we look like or where we came from. And that fact is true for us personally, individually, but it's also true of everybody else we run into. Sometimes we write people off way too early. Go to a Nu Skin meeting and look around the room at the successful distributors, and you'll find one of everything.
Lots of times you look at people and you go, oh, I just can't believe that they think that they can do this business, let's say. Or I'd be surprised if they would be successful, but you can really never tell who's going to be successful at the business. It can be someone that you don't think really has much to offer, and all of a sudden you start seeing the little pieces that start forming in their personality that will allow them to be successful at the business.
The world of sports kind of makes this case. Go down to the hospital and walk down the row of bassinets in the delivery room and try to pick out the Olympic athlete. All these kids look wrinkly and the same, and some of them have got better genes for running faster than others do. But the real difference between a good athlete and a great athlete is belief in oneself and hard work. A coach can't tell at the beginning of the season who a superstar is going to be at the end of the season. That just comes through people pulling out of themselves all that there is to be had.
Everyone brings something unique to the table, and it takes all of those pieces to make it work. So what you perceive as a leader isn't necessarily what is necessary to work into that leadership role. You know, when people get married, they don't always say, oh, I can't be a mother. I've never been a mother before. Well, you know, you get in the water and you learn how to be a mother. As long as you have the right heart and the right desire and you've set your goals to do the best you can, then it's practice skills, increase, practice skills.
We have, through the years, tried to discover as a company a profile of what a successful distributor looks like. We've kind of quit doing this now. We've done it so much and always gotten the same result. Send out little surveys of our top distributors. You know, what are the elements of your life, to see if we could find some commonalities so we would know who to go look for in finding other leaders. And we expected to find, you know, a certain kind of education or a certain kind of background or a certain kind of formal training or some personality traits. And we've never been able to find any commonalities. Just a couple. They tend to have credit cards and they tend to enjoy near-death experiences. But other than that, they come from every walk of life, from every range of professional training and accomplishment, from every kind of household, from every country in the world, it seems like. No matter who they are, no matter what they bring to the table, they tend to find success here simply by applying the success formula. The beauty of the success formula is that no matter who you are, no matter where you have been, if you'll come in and develop those skills, if you come in and will force yourself to acquire those virtues in your professional life, you can be successful here.
Here are 4 words I want you to let bang around in your head for a long time. Tune out your critics. Attitudes are contagious. If you listen to negative people tell you negative things, how do you suppose that impacts your mind and your thoughts? They can cause you to doubt yourself, doubt your team, doubt your organization. And how will those thoughts impact your results? Please, I am begging you, tune out your critics.
No great achievement has ever been accomplished quietly. Everybody who's accomplished anything worthwhile has had to walk through a phalanx of criticism and suggestions and kibitzing, and the person making that march has to be very thoughtful about how to deal with that kind of input. On the one hand, we should seek constructive criticism. We should be testing our thoughts and our dreams and our vision against the thoughts of people who care about us. But on the other hand, we've got to be able to see those visions for what they are, and recognize when criticism and when negative speech is not informed with the same clarity that your decision has been informed by. And when we see that people are advising us because they simply don't see the situation as clearly as we do, then we've got to figure out how to find the courage to politely move on.
They've obviously, if they don't view themselves as having potential, then they've been hanging out with the wrong group of people. So I'd do everything I could to get them in a room full of people who have a positive outlook on life, so they could start to cultivate that within themselves.
Different type attitudes towards you, I usually I understand where they come from. Yeah, most friends and relatives, they are thinking they take care of you and they concern you, so they always criticize and give you the negative feedback to want to make sure you don't fall. But once you understand that, that's fine. I think that you are the boss of yourself. You have to make decisions yourself.
Thomas Edison was absolutely correct when he said, if we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. As I look back on my own life, I am astounded at what has transpired. As I look at this wonderful organization that surrounds me, I'm astounded at what has become our beautiful reality. And I suggest to you that you have within you the potential to truly live your dreams. Since the power of potential is an integral part of the success formula, I want to give you some things to think about and write down. Think about the people you admire most. What are the positive qualities they possess? What are your greatest strengths and talents? What areas of your life, personal or professional, have you neglected to use those talents to the best of your ability? What day will you begin using your talents at maximum capacity? Whenever that is the day you will begin the climb towards your true potential. Ponder that every time you watch this video, and I'll see you soon to share with you the next ingredient in the success formula.